Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I want to show you how to solo Pavlov's House, designed by David Thompson and published by Danversion Games. So Pavlov's House is set at the Battle of Stalingrad, and it centers around the defense of Pavlov's house, which was a strategically placed apartment building in Stalingrad that the Nazis tried to take for 2 months before help arrived. So in the solo version of this game, we're going to be controlling these two sides of the board because we are the Soviets. So this is the Soviet 62nd Army, and we will be providing support to Pavlov's house from here. And then we'll also have these sort of smaller tactical choices to make within Pavlov's house. When the AI does something, like send German soldiers toward the house, we'll be reflecting it on this middle part of the board. This game is interesting because the turn structure makes a lot of sense. It proceeds from right to left. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And it'll proceed in that pattern throughout the game, which actually makes it a lot easier to pick up and understand. All right, so first we're going to set up the Wehrmacht deck. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All you need to do is separate the cards by number, shuffle each of the little decks individually, and then you put a resupply on top of the decks. So the way it'll end up working is you'll have 5 on the bottom, 4 with a resupply on top, 3 with a resupply on top, 2 with a resupply on top. So this is where you gotta feed your guys, which can get pretty desperate, as we're gonna find out. And then 1. So in this game, if you can survive this entire deck intact, you win. The odds of doing that, however, are a lot lower than you'd probably like them to be. When you're ready for a more hardcore game of Pavlov's House, you can add in these tactics cards, which make the Nazi onslaught even more difficult to deal with, but we're not going to use them for this particular game, and you shouldn't for your first. However, they do add a whole lot of fun, if you like to get beaten up badly. On the Russian side, there are also these operational support cards. There are variant rules for them, but basically they allow you to kind of mimic the fact that there were more points of import than just Pavlov's house, and that resources had to go to them as well. So the operational support cards can cause you to divert some resources in exchange for victory points. So if you want to add those in later, that's another option for you. And then your last deck that you're going to be setting up are these Soviet cards, which of course have a hammered sickle on the back. These are going to represent the resources that we're going to get to deal with throughout the game, so get ready for some fun with that. We're also going to shuffle in 3 Fog of War cards. So Fog of War just means that we're going to have some limited choices in the turns that we draw them. The remaining 4 are going to go to the side for now, but trust me, they will end up shuffled into the deck to annoy us throughout the game. So we'll shuffle all of this together, and that will be our Soviet deck. Then we set up a bunch of tokens. Mine all live in a Plano box, so I'm just going to leave them there. But here are our 4 starting guys in Pavlov's house, and you put them here in the reserves box. So there are various tokens for German soldiers, Russian artillery, and then for over here we're going to have tokens that represent food, first aid, sappers, and we're going to see all of those as we play through a couple of sample turns. We're also going to put our starter supplies here in the supplies section on the board. So we're going to get 2 food tokens. So when it comes time to resupply, 1 food token can feed 5 people. So that's an important thing to know. And then we have 10 suppression tokens, and we'll be putting suppression tokens out here in order to try to gun down encroaching Nazi soldiers before they can even get a chance to attack us. So we're also going to put some defense tokens on our house. So all sides of the house start with a defense value of 6, but trust me, it won't last very long. There are some larger round counters that look like this that are defense tokens, but I like to use the cubes because they're a little more compact. All right, so I'm going to try to teach you this game just by walking you through a couple of turns and explaining them as well as I can, and I think that'll give you a good sense of the flavor of the game. It is good fun, it's very tense, but it can also go on a while, so in the interest of time, I will just kind of keep it quick. So, we start over here. The game will go from right to left. So we're always going to start on the right, move to the middle, come to the left. And it's a very nice pattern because, you know, there's nothing that's overly complicated in each phase. So once you get used to them, it flows really smoothly. So over here, what we're mainly going to do is draw cards and then figure out how to assign the resources on them. So you will draw 4 cards. And as you can see, each of these cards has 2 parts. So what these parts are going to be doing is they're going to be giving us stuff to assign, like ways to help Pavlov's house. So we can play 3 out of the 4 cards, and we can play one resource from each card. So I couldn't, for example, be like, oh, I want to play the 62nd Army Command Post and anti-aircraft. I have to pick one thing from each of 3 of the cards and then discard the 4th. So we'll walk through some of these actions. This is the Volga military flotilla. When I have supplies in the staging area, the flotilla is what I'm going to be using to get those supplies across the river and into Pavlov's house. So it's very important. I can play this card either to clean up a Nazi suppression token that's blocking my way here. I can use it to load anything I might have put here onto boats and then ship all of that across the river. Or I can, once things are loaded here, I can take another flotilla action to move those supplies into Pavlov's house. So basically, in order to get anything done with this action, it's like a 3-step process. I have to play another action to put things in the staging area. And then I need 2 flotilla actions to put stuff in the loading area and then move it over to Pavlov's house. And that's if I don't have to do cleanup from rolls from the Germans. So this one is actually anti-aircraft. What we're going to do with anti-aircraft is you can actually put these anti-aircraft tokens in 2 spaces on the board, depending on what it says. So the 1083rd Anti-Aircraft Regiment is down here. But we also have the 267th, which is up here. So depending on what cards you have, so see, here's 267th in the same hand. So I can play these to put anti-aircraft tokens in these spaces or to clear out Nazi suppression tokens that are blocking them. So anti-aircraft is great because when you are attacked by Stukas, you have a chance to roll dice and see if you can knock some of them out of the air before they hit you and start messing with all of these spaces on the board. This card will either let you clear Nazi tokens out of here, so you can put your own stuff there, or it'll let you place an artillery token, and basically you can recruit people into Pavlov's house who will coordinate with these guys and have artillery sent to kill off some German soldiers and tanks that are coming towards Pavlov's house. So if you are setting yourself up correctly, it's a very useful action. Other things we have here include the 62nd Army Command Post. So what the Command Post lets you do is it lets you place 5 tokens into this staging area. So you can put first aid, food, sapper tokens, ammunition tokens here. Or you can use it to initiate a storm group, which is like you send guys from the house on this like kind of heroic suicide mission to get some victory points and stick it to the Germans. But you're going to use it to put tokens here in the staging area. And then you pair this with the flotilla card that we looked at earlier to get stuff from the staging area with this, then onto and across the river with the boats. The 13th Guards Rifle Division Command Post is also excellent because what it does is where the 62nd Army Command Post puts supplies in to go across the river, the 13th Guards Rifle Division Command Post allows you to recruit soldiers into Pavlov's house. So you have these starting 4 guys, but alone they're not going to be able to get much done. You're going to have to get cooler weapons in the house and the people who are qualified to use them. So what you're going to be doing is getting some recruitment points from actions like these, and then putting more and more people into the house to handle as much business as possible and survive the onslaught. Of course, the tension here, right, is the more people that are in the house, the more people you have to feed, which means you have to make sure that you're getting food into the staging area and then across the river. So all of these things work really nicely together to create some tension in the game. One thing that you should know is that if you can't feed people, they do starve to death. And one of the ways to lose the game is to have no food in the house and all of your dudes die. So I have definitely died by starvation in this game, especially in earlier games when I was learning how to balance my supplies. So watch out for that. Make sure there's enough food in the house for these dudes. And this card's not in my hand. I'm just pulling out real quick for instructional purposes and I'll stick it back into the deck. So you have the 8th Guard Sapper Battalion. So what the Sapper allows you to do is if you have used your 62nd Command Post to put Sapper tokens into Pavlov's house, you can take the Sapper action to either have people in Pavlov's house repair the buildings or to blow up Germans that are on these sapper spots. So you basically place sapper tokens and wait for them to step onto those spots, and then you roll and see if you manage to blow them up. But yeah, the utility of this action depends on whether you've been able to get sapper tokens into the house. So you may use this action a lot if you're planning well. If you're not, or you can't get things across because of the flotilla, it's kind of a dead action. So you have to be thinking about whether you need to pull it off and what you need to make it happen. And then here we have the 139th Signal Battalion. So this is also a sort of interesting thing that you can do. So basically, you can use these actions to, if you can fill up all of these little signal posts, then if you have them all full at the beginning of a following turn, you actually get to take a fourth action off of your cards, which is really, really cool. It can also do other things for you, such as allow you just remove disruption tokens from here. So when the Germans attack and they roll 14 through 17, you can use this action to clean up the damage that they've done. So the other thing this card is good for is you can actually make a tactical decision, which is get some of your, if there are no disruption tokens in the associated locations, you can actually use it to get rid of a Fog of War card. So remember how I told you you'll draw Fog of War cards that limit your actions? This will allow you to put one back into the stock and then draw a fresh resource card to work with for the remainder of your turn. So it's also a good way to clear Fog of War cards out of your deck if you are up high and you're just drawing too many, it's making you crazy. So as we mentioned, one way to die or lose the game of Pavlov's house is for everyone to starve. You can also have everybody in the house just straight up killed by the Germans, which is entirely possible. The other way to lose the game, actually, is if you would place a second token here. So whenever Stukas and stuff attack, you roll dice, and the total of the dice determines where you're going to put a suppression token. But, let's say if there's already something on 12, then we'll put the token on 13 instead, and it goes up. So if you already have a token on 18 and then you would have to place another token there, then you will lose the game immediately. So you can get really unlucky and have it happen. That hasn't actually happened to me. But a lot of it is about management and making sure that you don't get so full of tokens down here that you end up in a bad situation and losing the game because you didn't manage the German air attacks. All right, so let's go ahead and take some actions. That'll be fun. Okay, so I can't do much with the Volga military flotilla right now, but I can do something with anti-aircraft. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this down, and I'm gonna put an anti-aircraft token here. All right, so let's go ahead and put some anti-aircraft here. I'd really like to put more, but I also have other stuff to do. Okay, so I can do two more things. I'm definitely gonna use 62nd Army Command Post. And I'm going to go ahead and start trying to get good stuff into the house. So I can put, by using this action, I can put 5 tokens here in the staging area. I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 food. I'm going to put, let's say, 2 sappers, because I always regret not having them. And then let's put some first aid in here. And I can just keep stacking stuff if I want to. So that's also pretty fun. So that was action number 2. And then, do I want to put out more anti-aircraft, or do I want to go ahead and recruit some more dudes into my house? That's a tough choice. I think for right now, to keep the complication low for y'all, and then the next turn, hopefully we'll be able to do this again, I'm going to go ahead and put another anti-aircraft down. We're going to put it on the 267th separate anti-aircraft battalion. So that was our 3 actions, so we discard all 4 cards into our discard pile. So these come off for a little while. So that was the entirety of the first turn on this part of the board. So that was the Soviet card phase. Now we're going to move into the next phase of the game, which is going to be where the Germans get to draw their cards and come at us. So now it is the Germans' turn, and we are going to draw and resolve 3 cards from the Wehrmacht deck in order to see what they do. So card number 1 is going to be Attack Building. So the way that Attack Building is going to work is first we're going to roll a die to determine which part of the building is going to be attacked. So as you can see, Pavlov's house has these 3 colors, purple, red, and green. So there are also tracks where soldiers approach each side of the house and put themselves in line of sight from Pavlov's house when you're trying to, shoot German soldiers. But it also tells us which side of the house is going to get attacked by color. So I rolled a 1. That means that the green side of the house is going to get attacked. This number 5 right here tells us how many dice are going to be rolled in the German attack. And the defense value of the house is 6. So what that's going to mean is we're going to roll all 5 dice. If one of the dice is a 6, then the German assault on the building was successful, and I will be moving my defense value down to 5. The only way to get it back up to 6 would be to use one of those sapper tokens if I can get it over into Pavlov's house, and if that's what I'm even going to want to do at the time. So let's go ahead and roll these 5 dice. None of these dice are a 6. Whew. Okay, so that means that the German attack on the building was unsuccessful. First Wehrmacht card survived. So this gets discarded. Now we're going to do card number 2. Now we have a rifleman. So I don't have any suppression tokens to deal with this. So if I had suppression tokens, I would be able to maybe do something about that, but I don't. So no matter what, he's going to get placed somewhere. So we're going to roll for where to put him. See this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is going to tell us where this rifleman's going to try to go. So let's roll a die and see where this guy's going to go. So he's going to go on number 3. That means that we're going to take a rifleman counter. We're going to put it right here. So as more riflemen come onto this track, they're going to move down. And if we can't do anything to stop them, once they reach Pavlov's house, the house is considered breached and we lose the game. So we definitely need to keep an eye on these guys as they move towards us, because otherwise we're going to lose. So if I'd had a suppression token over here in the red, I could have rolled to see if I stopped him from coming on the board, but I didn't, so there's nothing that I could do. So this rifleman will go in the discard pile. And then we're going to draw another card. Uh-oh. So some junkers are going to come and bomb Stalingrad. So remember those anti-aircraft tokens that I placed? Let's try to do something with those. I'm going to go ahead and play both of them, because if you save them, sometimes they just get destroyed anyway. So let's just go ahead and try to stop the junkers from attacking. I'm going to get 2 dice per token that I played in order to try to suppress these planes. So I know there's 2 of them. Their defense value is 4. I have 4 dice to roll. If I can roll 2 4s or better, then I have stopped the attack of the junkers. Otherwise, they're going to roll and disrupt various things in my space. Okay, so that was actually great. I rolled 2 5s. So what that means is that this card won't do anything. We have managed to use our anti-aircraft to stop the junkers from destroying us. Yay! So that was actually a pretty good first Wehrmacht turn. Just for instructional purposes, when junkers come and you don't manage to roll well, so if I'd had let a plane go through, for each plane, I would have rolled 3 dice. And then I would have totaled up. So 4, 5, 6 meant I would have put a disruption token here on 6. Or if I had rolled, ooh, that's low. Let's get all these low rolls out. If I had rolled 13, I would have placed something up here and disrupted my anti-aircraft. So basically, when Stukas come through, if they get to attack you and you don't manage to block them with your anti-aircraft, they roll and then they block stuff over here. If it's something that's already blocked, let's say I'd rolled a 13 and there was already a token here, it would just go to 14. So it's always going to disrupt something. So it's best to be good with your anti-aircraft and use it liberally. So now we're going to be over here in Pavlov's house itself. And we only have 4 guys for now, so we'll take sort of like a condensed turn, and then we'll see if I can show you how to expand that out. Okay, so Pavlov is our commander. We also have Chernogolov, Alexandrov, and Glushenko. So we are going to send, we can move 3 people into the house, and then we can take 3 actions. You can have 4 movements and 4 actions once you get all the commanders on the board. So there are 2 commanders other than Pavlov. If you can get them all in there, then you can have a pretty good situation where you have people, taking more actions, making more moves, and being able to unexhaust more counters per turn. So it's good to get captains in early, or commanders. For now, what we're going to do, however, is let's move some guys out so we can actually take some actions. So these spaces are great because they give you line of sight to 2 sides of the house. However, they're also dangerous because there's a higher chance that you're going to roll a die where you're going to get hit. So let's do it, however. Let's go ahead and put, let's go ahead and put Chernogolov here. Let's put Alexandrov, no. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and put Pavlov here for now so he can do some stuff. And then let's put Alexandrov here in the radio room. And I'm gonna show you how that part works. Yeah, I like that plan. All right, so now we can take 3 actions. Actually, let's go ahead and leave Pavlov here because we'll move him next turn. Let's put Glushenko here. So we've moved 3 guys. We've put Alexandrov, Chernogolov, and Glushenko out. So that's what we're gonna do. Now we can take up to 3 actions. So what I want is to shoot this dude. So what we have here is a 1/1. So the 1 on the left is the number of dice that the soldier gets to roll when they shoot. The other is the number of suppression tokens that they can put out in various parts of the house, and I can choose to do either thing. So I can choose to either shoot at this guard, or I can put a suppression token in one of these spaces so that I can prevent more people from coming onto the board. All right, so now I can take 3 actions, and here are the actions I'm going to take. First, I'm going to try to have Chernogolov fire at this guy. So we're going to put a star in him to show that that was an action that I took, and he's going to be exhausted after this action. I'm going to try to roll. If I can roll a 4 or higher, then I shoot the rifleman. If I don't, I don't. So that was a 3. That was a big old waste of time. Let's go ahead and try it again, though, which is why I put Glushenko up here. Let's just do it. See if we can get this dude. Ha! A 5. So this rifleman is gone. We have removed him from the board. So now there's nobody on the trails coming up towards Pavlov's house. Something that I cannot trust to last. And then we have Alexandrov over here with the radio. And what he's going to do is he's going to use the radio to call for reinforcements. So what this action is going to do is it's going to give me 2 recruitment points to try to get somebody new. So let me show you a couple of these tokens so you understand what I mean. So we could totally get Turganov because he only has 2 little pips right here at the bottom of his token. So we could, since we have 2 points, we could recruit somebody like Turganov because he's only worth 2. We cannot, however, recruit someone like Naumov because he has a cost of 4 down here in the bottom right. So the points that you have affect who you can recruit. So I think what I am going to do is I am going to go ahead and recruit Turganov. And the reason I'm going to go ahead and do that is because he is going to help me with anti-tank stuff later. So I think this is a good moment. So since this turn is ending, before we go back over to this side of the board and play through one more sample turn, I want to talk to y'all about the different kinds of recruits that you can get for Pavlov's house and what they can do. So I didn't get all the counters out, but I laid them out so that you can kind of get a look at what your options are in this game. So Naumov and Afanasiev are commanders, as noted by the C on their counters. So if you can get both of these guys into the house, that's how you get those extra movements and actions. And they can also unexhaust soldiers in the house. So these guys are very useful because they have command abilities. The S means that they're extra inspirational in a storm group, and you get to roll extra dice in pursuit of like a Hail Mary attack on the Germans. These dudes are gunners. So Dushenko and Ivashenko are 2 of our gunners. And what they do is they operate these machine gun weapons. So you actually need them in order to make these weapons work. And of course, these weapons are much better than the one-shot, one-die guns that we were using on that previous turn. So in order to make this work, you do have to put both of them on the same space. So normally counters can't just randomly share spaces, but these guys are the same type and you need 2 of them to operate one of these weapons. So what that means is that you'll put them on the same space with a gun, and then they can both exhaust in order to fire it. So that is how the guns work. Also note that there are different kinds of guns that have different costs when you are spending your recruitment points, so it's worth thinking about. Mortars allow you to move suppression tokens in large numbers onto your board. So there's only 2 mortar guys and I have 1 mortar weapon, and they are used specifically for that purpose. Again, you need 2 people to operate 1 mortar and they'll both exhaust on that move. Here we have the these artillery guys. What they will do is they're anti-tank. So here you have these anti-tank guys, and they are the only people basically who from inside the house can shoot at tanks and make them stop approaching Pavlov's house, which is something you're really going to want to do. Again, it's 2 guys per anti-tank shot. So you need 2 dudes and a weapon to make it happen. And then F stands for forward observer. What this means is that if you have put some of these artillery tokens out on so if you've put some of those artillery tokens right over on this part of the board, you can coordinate with your forward observers in order to attack Nazis who are approaching Pavlov's house using those tokens. So that's what the forward observers are good for. All right, so now that we've gone through 1 turn on each of these little areas, let's do it one more time so you can get a sense of the rhythm of the game. So we're gonna draw 4, we're back over here with the 62nd Army. We're gonna draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent, okay. So what we're definitely going to do, so we get to choose 3 of these things to do. The first one for me is definitely going to be the Volga military flotilla. So I'm going to go ahead and put some food and a sapper token out to try to get it into the house. Because the more food we can get to Pavlov's house, the better chance of long-term survival we have. So that was one action. Now I can take 2 more. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is, as much fun as it'd be, I don't have any forward observers in the house, so we're going to go ahead and put 2 anti-aircraft tokens back on the board. And they're both 267. No, one's 1083rd. So we'll play this one here and this one here. You try to play them where you think there's slightly lower odds of them getting rolled. So that was my 3 actions. All 4 cards go into the discard. So as you can see, this game really picks up once you know what you're doing. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to resolve 3 cards. So let's see what those 3 cards are going to be. No, we got Junkers coming again. They're going to bomb Stalingrad. Let's go ahead and spend our anti-aircraft tokens. We're not going to be able to block all the planes, even if we roll well, because there's 3 of them. But let's see if we can at least get 2 4s out of 4 dice. So again, you get 2 dice per token. I just spent 2 anti-aircraft tokens. I'm going to roll 4 dice. I'm going to try to get 4 better to get that defense value. And we did it for 2. So this dude, so 2 of the 3 planes have been blocked. However, the 3rd one is going to come through. So in order to reflect that happening, we're going to roll 3 dice. And we've rolled 10. So what that means is that we're going to put a suppression token right here on spot number 10. So here's a suppression token. And that was card number 1. Let's resolve a second card. No! Okay, so more Junkers are going to come bomb Stalingrad, and we don't have any anti-aircraft suppression left, so these guys are just going to come through. So now I have to roll these 3 dice 3 more times and just see what they destroy. All right, so 12, 15. We'll put a suppression token here. That sucks. Roll number 2. 12, 13, 14. So another one here. We got to clear this out. And then another one, so 11, 14. So what's going to happen is we already have one on 14. We already have one on 15. So it just keeps going up. So we'll put one on 16. We have got to do something about this. They have just totally fried our communication lines. Boo. All right. And now we have 1 more card left to go for the Wehrmacht turn. They've done enough damage. Good lord. All right, so a Rifleman's going to come out. I don't have any suppression, so he's going to come out to 4, and we're going to put a Rifleman right here. All right, so here comes our Rifleman. And now we're back into Pavlov's house because we resolved 3 Wehrmacht cards. So as you can see, this game gets a lot quicker once you know what to do. So now we're over here, and let's think about this. One thing I'm definitely going to need to do is we're going to move Pavlov out. I don't know where I want to put Turgenov yet. I'm going to kind of leave him here, I think. And then, sadly, I could take more actions, but I don't have enough guys. So we're just going to flip Pavlov. We're going to exhaust him. And what's going to happen, we should have pulled these back last turn, by the way, is that these guys are going to be basically in recovery and ready to go again on the following turn. So it's not as big a deal now, but you mark them with these sort of recovery tokens so that you can see, right, that they're not ready to act this turn, but that next turn they're going to be. And that was an entire turn in Pavlov's house. All right, so that went so quickly. Let's do 1 more. I always tell myself this and end up like playing a whole game. So we'll stop after this upcoming turn, I promise. So we'll pull all of this back. So let's draw 4 more Soviet cards and see what we get. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's definitely do the Volga military flotilla while we can. So this stuff just came into the house. Awesome. Okay, what next? What next? All right, I definitely want to do 13th Guards Rifle Division Command Post. Let's recruit some more guys into the house so we have more things to do. So when you do this, you play the card and you get 6 recruitment points. So I need 6 points worth of dudes to put in here. So I'm going to spend my 6 points on 2 dudes. I'm going to get another commander, Afanasyev, and then I'm going to put Shkuratov and an anti-tank guy in there as well. So now I have 2 anti-tank guys, and now all I need is an anti-tank gun, but it's a start. And having Afanasyev is going to be great because he is another commander, so he can do a lot of what Pavlov is in here doing. All right, we can choose 1 more thing to do. So recruiting more guys would be cool. This would be cool. And anti-aircraft would also be cool, because as you can see, we got roasted on the anti-aircraft this past turn. Ooh. Let's see. How many guys do I have in this house? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I can have 3 more guys before I even use 2 food tokens, so I'm actually going to put more guys in the house. So that was my third action. I get 6 more recruitment points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring a 3rd commander in. So we're going to bring Namoth in. We're also going to bring in a cheap 2-pip anti-tank gun. So now we got 2 anti-tank guys and an anti-tank gun. There's a lot that we can start to do now. Of course, before we can do any of that, we have to have another Wehrmacht phase. So they're going to attack the building. So again, we're going to roll a die. This time they're going to attack the purple side of the building, because 5 to 6 is purple. They're coming at us over here. If they hit, these guys are going to get hurt. So let's hope that they don't, but they're going to roll 5 dice. They have to roll a 6. Oh, they did not roll a 6. Okay, good. So relief. So card number 1 is dealt with. Number 2, more junkers are coming to bomb Stalingrad. I knew I should have done an anti-aircraft. There's only 2 of them though. So we're going to roll 2 sets of 3 dice this time, instead of all those from last time. God. Okay, so 6, 11, 14 again. Oh man, we are just getting suppressed all the way up this line. We've got to do something. Because again, remember, things go up the chain. If I have to put a 2nd token here, we'll lose. So I should probably do something about that. And this time we got 8, 10. So this one already has something on it, so it'll go up to 11. This one goes to 11. All right, so we have 1 more card to go. It's going to be a Scouts. So basically the same rule as Riflemen, except that they have a higher defense value. So I don't have any suppression. Doesn't even matter. So they're going to come here to this green spot. So we're going to put a Scouts token right here. And those were the 3 Wehrmacht cards. So as you can see, this game gets pretty brutal pretty quickly. We've got a mess on our hands over here. Now we're in Pavlov's house. So what's going to happen is that these guys are all good to go. Pavlov is exhausted, but I can take an action to make him feel a bit better if I like. I think what we're going to do is let's move one of our commanders out so they can take more command actions. And then let's actually switch these 2 guys for now, because we don't actually have any tanks on the board, and I want to use somebody to call on the phone and recruit more people, because I'm greedy like that. Okay, so here's what we've got. Let's go ahead and use our guys to try to get rid of these, to try to get rid of the Riflemen and the Scouts. So we're going to use Chernogolov. So he's going to perform an action in exhaust in order to try to shoot the Scouts, because he's on a dual red-green, so he has line of sight to these green tracks. So if I can roll a 5 or better, the Scout dies. If I roll under that, that was a wasted action. Oh, yes, so the Scout is gone. That was awesome. Now we're going to try to use Glushenko to shoot the Rifleman. So he's going to try to shoot, because he's in a red-purple spot, this Rifleman that's in the red spot. So he's got a defense value of 4. If I can roll a 4 or better, I get him. If I roll under that, I don't. Oh, that was a good roll. Awesome. So this Rifleman is off the board as well. Then I'm actually going to use Turganov. And we're going to go ahead and put a star on him. And I'm going to have him use the radio to call for more stuff. I can feed up to 10 guys on 2 food. So I think what I'm going to do is put some more guys in the house. Let's go ahead and get some of these sort of inexpensive machine gun guys into the house so that I can get a gun on an upcoming turn and then start shooting at people who are encroaching on Pavlov's house. All right, so now you've seen 3 complete turns of this game. I'm sure that you can see that once you get into it, it starts to play really, really fast. It's high excitement. There are big decisions to make every single turn. This turn is terrifying because the Germans always do something horrible. And it's just basically this really fast-paced, tense, exciting game that I've been getting a huge amount of enjoyment from in the last few weeks. So I highly recommend Pavlov's House from Dan Verson Games, designed by David Thompson. Happy gaming!